Assalamu alaikum friends, my name is Bilal Khan and today is my 56th video of DevOps. So in this video I am going to talk about the third part of the AWS instance, and that is the memory optimized instance. Alright, so memory optimized instances are designed to deliver the fast performance for workloads that process the large amount of data sets in memory. Alright, so it will deliver the fast performance for workloads that processes the large amount of data in memory. So there are three types of series in it, and each of them have subtypes also. So the first series is the R series, the second one is the X series, the third one is the Z series. So there are also the subtypes of each of the series. So there are multiple types of the R series, that is R4, R5, R5A, R5AD, R5D. And the X series has two types, that is X1 and X1E. And the Z series has only one type, that is Z1D. So let's take a look at each of these types. So first of all, the R series. So it is used for high performance relational databases, that is MySQL, and for non-relational databases also, that is NoSQL, MongoDB, Cassandra, etc. Alright, and distributed web scale cache across stores that provide in-memory caching of key value data type. Alright, so basically it will provide you the web scale cache stores that will provide the in-memory caching of key value pair of the data. To process more data in the runtime, R series will be used there. Alright, so it will be used in financial services like Hadoop. So this is a famous tool that is nowadays famous in the big data. So I don't know much about this Hadoop, but I know that it is used for big data and data science. So it is used there in the Hadoop and big financial services. So after that, this is the specifications of R series, in which the virtual CPUs are starting from 2 to 96. And the RAM is starting from 16 GB to 768 GB. And the instance storage is available in EBS and NVMe SSD. Alright. Now let's take a look at the X series. So X series is well suited for high performance database, memory intensive enterprise applications, relational database workload, and SAP HANA applications. Alright, so this is some kind of application that is used. And X series is used for these kind of applications that are enterprise, relational database applications, workloads, for these kind of applications. And it is used in electronic design automation. Alright. And the CPU, if you compare it with the R series, you will see that there is there is some kind of difference in it. Instead of virtual CPUs, as you can see that it is starting from 4 to 128. But in the R series, the virtual CPUs were starting from 2 to 96. Similarly, in the RAM is starting from 122 GB to 3904 GB. Alright. But in the Z series, the RAM was starting from 16 GB to 768 GB. So this is much RAM that is available for it. So it will provide a high performance delivery of the data in X series. So that is much more than all the instances that I have discussed before. All right. And after that, the instance storage will be only SSD, not the EBS. All right. So now let's take a look at the Z series. So the Z series delivers a sustained all-core frequency up to 4 GHz, the fastest of any cloud instances. Alright, so it will provide you the 4 GHz in which the data will be transferred frequently as compared to other instances that I have discussed, in which the instances will be 2.5, 2.8 gigahertz, but here in the Z series the frequency of data is 4 gigahertz, that will be in which the data will be transferred fastly. Alright, so it uses AWS Netro System, Xeon processor, and up to 1.8 terabyte of instances storage. Alright, so this is the thing that you need to keep in mind. After that, if you take a look at the virtual CPUs, that it is starting from 2 to 48, and the RAM is starting from 16 to 384 GBs, and the instance storage is NVMe SSD. Alright, so it is used in electronic design, automation, and sustain or databases workload with high per core licensing cost. Alright, so now let's take a look at the fourth type of AWS instance, that is the storage optimized instance. So the storage optimized instances are designed for workloads that require higher sequential read and write access to very large amount of data. Alright, so if you want to sequentially read and write the data, it means the sequence will be, first the data will be read, and then on another sequence the next data will be read and write. So it will be read and write one after the one. It will not go parallelly. Instead, the data will be data will go sequentially, one after the one. Alright, and the workload will require the higher performance. Alright, so for this purpose, the storage optimized instance will be used there. So they are optimized to deliver tens of thousands of low latency random I/O operations per second to application. Alright, so there are three types of series in it. The first one is the D series, the second one is the H series, and the third one is the I series. So the D series has one part that is called D2, the H series has one part that is called H1, and the I series has two parts, that is I3 and I3EN. Alright, so let's take a look at the D series. So it is well suited for massive parallel processing in the data warehouse, map reducing, Hadoop distributed computing, and log or data processing app. Alright, so this is used for these purposes. And let's take a look at the virtual CPUs that it is using. So from 4 to 36, the virtual CPUs are using here. Alright, and RAM is starting from 30.5 to 244 GBs, and instant storage is SSD. So let's take a look at the H series. So this series will provide you up to 16 TB of HDD based local storage. Alright, so 16 TB of HDD, sorry. So high disk throughput means results. So high disk result will be provided, and balance of compute and memory of storage. Alright, so well suited for app requiring sequential access to large amounts of data on direct attached instant storage. Alright, so this is the thing that you need to keep in mind about the direct attached instant storage and the network attached instant storage. So it is well suited for app requiring sequential access to large amounts of data via the direct attached instance. So what does it mean? So direct attached instance will basically the storage that will be present directly to it. So you can access it directly. But in the case of network, the network attached instance is basically you can access it via network. It will not be attached to it, and you cannot directly access it. Alright, so basically the well suited for app requiring sequential access to large amounts of data. So if you want to access the large amount of data, then it will be possible sequentially with the help of direct attached instant storage. So there is another storage that is called the network attached storage that will be accessible through a network and not directly accessible. So EBS is the example of network attached storage that will be available not directly, but you can access it via network. Alright, so now let's take a look at the application that requires high throughput result access to large quantities of data. Alright, and virtual CPUs are starting from 8 to 64. RAM is starting from 32 to 256 GB, and instant storage is on the HDD. Alright, and let's take a look at the I series. So the I series is well suited for high frequency online transaction processing system. Alright, so let's because there are in the online transaction there are the transfer of data is continuously going on. Alright, so the money is transferring, the money is going on. Similarly, if you take a look at the email services like Gmail, the email is going on and going there and going here. So frequently the transferring of data is happening. So in this way the I series will be used, in which the frequently data transmission will happen. So in that way the I series will be used. So it is used in relational databases, NoSQL databases, distributed file system, data warehouse applications. So it is used in all of them. And spaces used in it will be virtual CPUs, RAM, instant storage, and network performance. So virtual CPUs is basically starting from 2 to 96. RAM is starting from 16 to 768 GBs. And instant storage is NVMe SSD. And the network performance is up to 400 Gbps and starting from 25 Gbps to 100 Gbps. Alright. So the sequential throughput is basically if you want to read the data. So in the I series, I3 and I3EN, in both of the cases, the data will be read with the rate of 16 GB per second. Alright, so the I series has two parts, I3 and I3EN. So in both of the parts, the data will be read by the rate of 16 GB per second. But if you want to write the data, then in the I3, the data will be write up to by the rate of 64 GB per second, and write it in the I3EN with the rate of 8 GB per second. Alright, so I hope you understood. On the reading stage, and the reading speed will be same on the I3 and I3EN, that is 16 GB. But on the writing stage, if you want to write the data in it, for I3 the data speed will be 64 GB per second, but for I3EN the data writing speed will be 8 GB per second. Alright, so that's it for now. So I hope you liked this video. So if you liked it, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, then ask those questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer all of them. So till then, goodbye.